Howdy folks, it's Teddy, aka James Kazao, and today I will be playing Grixis Control and Legacy, but not just any Grixis Control deck. Here in front of me I have Reid Duke's Grixis Control list from GP Richmond 2018, and if you haven't seen that series of videos, I highly recommend checking it out. It's just some amazing matches in there. Now, it's no secret that the meta has changed significantly since this deck's construction. This was before Uro, before Oko, pre-Modern Horizons 1, so we might have some trouble keeping up with the meta at large, but we do have 4 Force of Wills, Jace the Mind Sculptor. We shouldn't be completely dead in the water. Starting with the mana base, 21 lands. We're really looking to make our land drops, and with 4 Underground Seas, we should have no problem casting Hymn to Turok on curve and things like that. 8 cantrips, that's standard stuff in a control deck for Legacy. 4 1-mana removal spells, splitting the difference between Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt. I prefer Lightning Bolt, but I see the merits of Fatal Push. We can hit some Construct tokens, and Tarmogoyf is kind of in the meta right now with Rug Delver. And yeah, moving on, we got a couple discard spells. Hopefully the lack of life loss with Inquisition will make up for its more limited reach. 3 Snapcaster Mages, we are looking to grind. And Diabolic Edict, I think I'm most concerned about this card just because edicts have come just so far since then. Shortly after this, we had Liliana's Triumph, which doesn't target a player and also plays nice with Liliana the Last Hope. Then Sudden Edict, if that's on the stack, it's going to resolve first. And then nowadays, my favorite, Shieldred's Edict, very versatile. But it's still an Edict. Should be able to hit a Merit Lage, hopefully, and maybe a Murktide Regent. We'll see. Hymn to Turok, raw card advantage engine. 2 mana, they discard 2 cards at random. Could just knock someone's lands out. We'll see. Baleful Strix. It's a little unfortunate that one of the cards that's still very much meta these days is kind of impacted by the current Bowmaster mania, but there's really no substitute for Baleful Strix. I still find it a very powerful card. Liliana the Last Hope. This used to be a big part of Grixis Control decks. Now it's kind of fallen off. But for +1, you can take care of X1 creatures, even if they have Indestructible. I can't think of any in the meta right now, but I'm sure there's a few. It's very powerful to be able to remove something while also increasing your loyalty. -2 can grind pretty hard. You can get a creature back from your yard. It's a bit like Kolaghan's Command. And then the -7 is an emblem, which is pretty bonkers. At your end step, you make X 2/2 zombies, where X is 2 plus the number of zombies you control. So your first turn you get 2. Next turn, if you still have those 2 zombies, you get 4 additional ones for a total of 6. And then it just completely spirals out of control from there. If we can protect Liliana and get an emblem, if we're not getting comboed out right after that, if it's any kind of fair strategy, even if they're going nuts with Field of the Dead, we should have more zombies than them. Kolaghan's Command. I am happy to have 3 of these. It's my favorite card, as y'all know, and I'm looking forward to all the 2-for-1s, X-for-1s this is going to give us. I like having 2 in my decks, so I can usually only fit 2 in, but hey, this is what the list said, so I get to play with 3. On our top end, Jace the Mind Sculptor. 2018 didn't have anything that really rivaled this in the 4-drop slot, and I'm really excited to play with this card. I still run 1. If you can stick it, protect it, untap with it, you're probably going to win the game. Alright, Force of Will for those. Some things never change. And then Gurmag Angler, a card I miss quite a bit. Nowadays my decks don't really have a big clocking threat. I just get over the line with persistent beats, but back in the day, if you survived the round of combo and just landed a big fish here, you can usually close the game out pretty quickly with a 5 power beater, and I'm looking forward to doing just that. Alright, onto the sideboard. 2 blue blasts. I think this has actually aged super well. The 4 Erlangas, not sure if I said that right, is super popular right now. Jeskai Delver making a big showing. Red Prison, still very much a contender. I like having 2 blue blasts. 1 Flusterstorm. I think pretty much every fair blue deck in Legacy I've ever seen has 1 Flusterstorm in the side. 3 Surgical Extraction. I usually only run 2, so having a third one will be nice against Reanimator, and I envision myself using Surgical to also keep up with Uro, because that's going to be really hard to keep up with the value with this older deck. And I can also see myself just bringing it in to fight parts of the meta that this deck is not equipped for, like maybe Urza's Saga. Alright, then we got a couple sweepers, March Casualties, and Toxic Deluge. These cards haven't really been present in Legacy for a while, just because Plague Engineer is really great. But I can already foresee myself paying 8 life to answer a Murktide Regent. March Casualties is kind of interesting. It is one-sided, so that's cool. All your opponent's creatures get -1/-1. Or if you kick it for a whopping 5, -2/-2. So, yeah. Don't worry about Monastery Mentor anymore, or maybe all those Nettle Sentinels will also get swept up. We'll see how it goes. It's not very efficient in the eyes of today's meta, but it still does the job. Liliana the Last Hope. It's nice having a threat in your sideboard that dodges red and blue blast. Just bring it in for a grindy matchup. 3 Red Blasts. That is probably the exact same as you'd see these days. Sometimes you see 4, but this list has 3. That's fine with me. I wouldn't want anything less than 3, but I think 3 is fine. Dreadbore. It's a sorcery if you can get over that, but it is unconditional creature or planeswalker removal. If we're fighting Teferi, it's going to be sorcery speed anyways, right? And now these 2 inclusions might look a little strange to the modern eye. We got Ensnaring Bridge and Pithing Needle. Ensnaring Bridge, we just, back then didn't have all the technology we have these days, and it'd come in against lands, stop Merit Lage from attacking. Like Surgical, I can foresee myself leveraging this card and some of the more like unfair elements to keep up with today's metagame. And then Pithing Needle, similar thing. If there's a card that's really bothering you, just cite in this as a catch-all answer. I can probably see myself naming Urza's Saga with this. That card is going to be tough to beat with this deck. But yeah, that's the deck. I already probably see myself struggling with some of these choices, mostly the mana base. I've ran the same 20 land mana base in all my Grixis Control decks since maybe the beginning, at least since 2019. I started with the Yuta Takahashi mana base, which is 5 basic lands, including basic mountain. This list does not have a basic mountain. It only has 3 basics, in fact. But we also have 2 volcanic islands, which I don't usually run, and 2 badlands. So with 4 red sources, we're probably not going to get wasted off red mana. But yeah, I really prefer having the basic mountain, and Yuta really championed that. It's just essential for me as a player to have that stability against wasteland or delver matchups. But, I can make this work. So yeah, that's the deck. I hope we don't get completely steamrolled by the meta. I got my little piece of paper reminding me about Minsk and Boo and Endurance, because those cards will be also complete blowouts. And yeah, I hope you stick with me. All right, here we go. Right off the bat, we win the die roll. Pretty cool. No cantrip. Turn to him to Turok. On the play. Can't say no. All right. Hopefully I don't just have to cast Lightning Bolt on turn 1. because then that means I would have to get Badlands to him to Turok on curve. Up against Verdant Catacombs. I mean, honestly, if there was something, I'd have to... Oh, okay. Looks like Reanimator. Not a deck you want to be hitting him to Turok. Outside of certain situations, anyways. If you have full information, it can actually be pretty good. Now they're going to unmask themselves. Probably put... Yep. Okay. I guess they have to be a little careful since it is Reanimate. Once they get one attack in, though, I guess it's possible I'll draw Diabolic Edict. Hey, look at that. I'm not saying this will work, but Bolt Snap Bolt might get there. They'll probably draw 7 in response. Yeah, you kind of have to. Not saying this is gonna work, but that was probably the best damage control card I could have drawn. Reanimate is off anyways. Animate dead, sure. Well, if I had another lightning bolt, this would be live. Who knows, maybe they'll like crack a fetch or something before going to combat. Oh, he's coming this way. Ooh. Yep. They still can't really draw 7 though. Polluted Delta. Collective Brutality. This is not a card you really see in Legacy or Modern that much anymore, but it used to be a staple of the BGX sideboards, where it was brought in against Burn. Now they will get to... Wait. We can scoop it up here. Alright. That's usually how game 1 against Reanimator goes. I wouldn't get discouraged. Is this what Pithing Needle was for? Pithing Needle Griselbrand? Surgical Extraction, 3 of them. That's pretty nice. Flusterstorm. Yeah, I guess they do win by attacking with creatures with really high power. Why not try Ensnaring Bridge, huh? Pretty clear cuts here. Him to Turok. Kolaghan's Command is... The discard is so indirect. It's pretty poor. Fatal Push. Actually, these decks run Douthie Voidwalker out of the sideboard now. And we saw Grief, so... Fatal Push used to be just like instantaneous side out. Now, I guess I'll keep it. I'll keep 1. Kolaghan's Command, I think, is still a better answer to the two 3/2 creatures I just mentioned, even though it is kind of slow. Alright. The core tenets of this deck have not changed, so this 2018 deck should be able to keep up. Put me on the play. Oh, this is classic. 3 pieces of interaction, 4 if I find a land, a really fast clock. I've got 21 lands, what the hell? Let's get weird. Alright, they mulligan down to 6. I'll pretend like I accidentally skipped through my turn. Oh, wait, stop, no! Come back! Ah, it's too late. The oval's getting away. Type an old oops haha in the chat. Nah, just kidding. Basic swamp. Feels like a grief being cask or unmask, sure. And now you see what I'm cooking. They take Force of Will. I wonder if they're on a show and tell juke. Maybe they figure that's the best route. Okay, cool. I mean, if I wasn't going to draw a land, I guess Force of Will would have been what I wanted. Land number 2. No action. How about a land? Alright. Do I just Pithing Needle Grizzlebrand here? What else would I name? None of the other big reanimation monsters really have activated abilities. Ideally, I'll be spending mana like mad for the rest of the game, so let's do this now. Okay. I think they thought I was going to try and Pithing Needle their Polluted Delta. Alright, we don't want his disciple, hound, mask, or scroll. We want the man himself. Or a thing himself. You know, it's funny. We might actually be able to just Gurmag naturally with just a little more help. If I fire these Surgicals and this Force of Will, that would be 5 cards in my graveyard. Uh-oh. Here we go. This is totally a show and tell. Yep. Pitch the Jace. If I take a draw step and I'm still just entirely soft to another show and tell, I think I'm going to cast Surgical on show and tell so I don't just die. Snap. That's like another Surgical. So discounted. Ah, beauteous. Although, I don't really want to shuffle any of this away. But Inquisition's just so much better. And there's no way I shuffle away a Surgical. I think it just has to be Gurmag Angler, unfortunately. We'll get the game done with a Snapcaster. That's just how we roll. Okay, cool. I like taking the reanimation spells just because it's kind of unreliable to keep them from having monsters in the bin. Hold on. Shit. Oh, too late. Well, sorry y'all, but they just drew a land, so it's okay. What I was gonna say is what I like I like Inquisition versus Thoughtseize against Reanimator because with Inquisition you're not in danger of having to discard one of their big monsters. Entomb, yep. That leaves them with an Archon in hand. Atraxa in the yard. And we're seeing them do some thinning here too. It's really now or never for them. I'm going to pay life. Just in case I need to snap, like so. I guess I don't need to. I still have the other reanimate. Oh, wait. What the hell? Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I totally messed up. I hit the wrong thing. Time to tighten up. I'm still going to hit the show and tells, just on their end step instead. And then I'll start the clock. Opponents over there probably thinking, what the hell is going on? Do the thing I wanted to do. We have Douthie Voidwalkers, a whopping 3 of them. 2 grief. Collective Brutality would be kind of annoying. It'd get in the way of my clock. But other than that, Surgical is going to do a great job policing what they're trying to do. Kolaghan's command. Start the clock. Then we'll ponder. Is there any world in which I'd need 2? I don't think so. They're not really a deck known for card advantage if they don't have Grizzlebrand out. Entomb, okay. They already know about this other one, and maybe they just don't care if Grizzlebrand gets extracted, but I absolutely have to respect it. On mere stats alone, it is an unbeatable creature. These new builds of Reanimator are pretty strong. They're not even really lacking for threats still, and I've hit them with 3 surgical extractions. It's pretty wild. I think after 1 or 2 more attacks, I should be able to race a Douthie Voidwalker, though. Especially with this Kolaghan's command. Yeah, let's see. Hardcrass Grief. I'd just K-command and then extract the Griefs. And then hopefully don't die to Dark Ritual, Archon. Play this island out, so if the grief scenario I just outlined does happen, I won't have to lose any life. Not usually too worried about your life total versus Reanimator, but it's always a factor. You do lose if you have 0. Lotus Petal. They're getting pretty close to casting that thing. Am I going to have to shatter a Lotus Petal and have them discard? Fight resources on that axis? Diabolic Edict. The damage control card. Shock Shatter actually might be the line if they make more land drops. Thoughtseize themselves. Yep, I'm ready for this. They really came at me with everything, though. Make sure I extract the right thing. Yep. Get those out of the deck. I think that's it for big monsters. Yep. Black mid-range time. And given my hand, I don't think it's possible we lose. They agree. I'm glad they didn't give me the opportunity to make more mistakes. Alrighty. Let's bring in a couple red blasts because show and tell is a very real angle. Kolaghan's command, like I said, is pretty bad. So is Fatal Push. Those darn 3/2s are so evasive though. Grief has Menace and Douthie Voidwalker has Shadow. Menace is obviously more manageable than Shadow, but just 2 lightning bolts? I'm not sure that's enough. We have edicts for them as well though. Is Dreadbore better than Diabolic Edict? Maybe. That's a hard maybe from me. No, I'm going to cut a Jace and get a little more low to the ground. Yeah, okay. Well, this is not keepable. Even if they mulligan, there's way too much that can go wrong. This is better, I guess. If they mulligan, I'll keep. If they don't, I will mulligan. Okay. Best hand yet. Edict and Brainstorm. Although, maybe it should have been Red Blast. Roast me in the comments. Reid Duke will be there. Basic Swamp. Thoughtseize. Yep. Now, if they take Ponder, they effectively take Force of Will too. Kind of. Alright. They take Red Blast. That is the one card that's the one card I was sure they weren't going to take, honestly. So they're all in on Show and Tell. Very interesting. I like drawing another Force. Let's Ponder. Try and develop a little bit. Yeah, great. Let's go Surgical, Inquisition to take that obvious Show and Tell, then put the land in hand. It is tempting to put the Surgical in hand, but at any turn we're not making a land drop. I think we're just completely conceding. Petal Pass, yep. No land drop. So maybe they didn't have a plan for Show and Tell. It's hard to say. I do really want that second Surgical though. It's so good in this matchup. You could say it's our best card. Okay. If I could rip that Grief, I can Surgical the other one, but I don't really see that happening. I am about to have another Surgical. Okay, they Grief, pitching Grief. Sure. I force this, extract Show and Tell, then I won't really need that form of permission as much. I draw Surgical Extraction, so I'm all rolled up for more graveyard shenanigans. If I don't force this, I feel like my hand, well, then they take Surgical and leave me with Force. If they take Force, though, and I'm just left with half a Force and 2 Surgicals, maybe that's fine too. I can buy that. Trying to do the math. The rectangle math. And let me tell you, it's not easy. Okay, they take half a Force. Maybe they drew another Show and Tell. Douthie Voidwalker. Okay. That is pretty scary. I think in that case I will shuffle away that Surgical on top of my deck. And I should have done that before. I guess this was still the right move though, because I would have forced Grief. They would have taken nothing, because I would have, I guess, Surgical Show and Tell in response, and then what? They still have a Douthie Voidwalker? Baleful Strix? Okay, it's a start. Ensnaring Bridge. Okay, I mean, that's what it's here for now. They'll have to somehow defeat me with the Drain mode from Collective Brutality. I really don't think they have any outs to Ensnaring Bridge in their 75. I mean, in their 60 against me. Obviously in their 75. Alright, how about a land, baby? Snapcaster Mage. Not great. The race is on, I guess. Surgical Snap Surgical takes 2 turns off the clock. But it might be necessary. They're nowhere near enough mana for show and tell, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. Douthie coming in for 3 again. Yep. 3 power beaters. Gotta be one of my favorite types. Alright, well, they'll still attack this turn. I guess this means that there's no point in deploying it, right? Well, when else am I going to do it, right? Check this shit out. Alright, getting in for another attack here. Who knows if you'll ever get to again. You might think Pyroblast is a really bad draw, and it mostly is, but at least I can target something, unlike Red Elemental Blast, and get it out of my hand. Brainstorm. Well, hopefully it comes up with a land or something. Or Gurmag Angler. That'll never attack. Alright, let's see. Yeah, let's put back Force. And I guess Gurmag Angler. Then extract Show and Tell. And voila! 3 cards in hand, you can't attack. Their hand is kind of scary, but I don't think they... I could have just checked right then. I don't think they have outs to Ensnaring Bridge in their 70, in their 60. This card's hot fire. Maybe I'll just start running it in my normal Grixis decks. I haven't played with it for so long. I used to play Mardu Pyromancer back in the day, if y'all remember that modern deck. It was a super cool and grindy modern deck that used Faithless Looting in probably its only fair capacity that I remember. Really cool deck, and it had Ensnaring Bridge because what you would do is just make all your 1/1 tokens, attack with them with your 1 card in hand, get rid of your 1 card, and then bang. Your opponents can attack you. Pithing Needle. Do I just name Douthie Voidwalker? Or should I name Grizzlebrand? I'm going to name Douthie Voidwalker. Because I don't really see a world in which I remove this card. It could take a really long time. I'll probably just hold up both Surgical Extractions. It's still really bad if they get a monster in. Because then they blocking me. Entomb? Yep. That would be really funny if they entomb to Shenanigans. You got me. They have an Archon in hand as well. I could just rip that out and really constrict their options. So they've got 1 unknown in hand, and I don't think it's Reanimation Spell. I guess Archon triggers could also reach and get over the line. Alright folks, 13 more attacks. Let's do it. another snap, that incentivizes me to just do some stuff like this. I gotta say, the triple surgical, triple snap build is kind of nice against Reanimator. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Hot Fire. Gotta be careful with that Brainstorm, though. Don't want Douthie Voidwalker attacking. We'll probably just Fate Seal until the end of time. Went from a 12-turn clock to a 4-turn clock. Kind of nice. Activating Polluted Delta. Grabbing a Swamp. Casting Exhume. Well, that's pretty scary, because they have 2 creatures in the yard. Guess I'll just remove them both, depending on what's in their hand. Okay, they don't have another one. Reanimation spell, that is. They do have Entomb, however they cannot pay the black to do the dirty Exhume trick. And I don't want them to have a Grief. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all, actually. It's just more firepower on board that can attack. It can block, though. So I guess I'm going down to 4. Went from a... oh, what? Oh, right. Douthie Voidwalker. Strikes again. The card is good, folks. The card is good. The doggone card is good. So I guess what we'll be doing is Jace Unsummon Grief. And that should reasonably get across the line. Should they be able to get Griselbrand in play, they won't be able to attack. Well, it's time to draw cards, I guess. It is time to Brainstorm. Jace does give me some more control over the bridge, which is nice. They're entombing. Griselbrand in the yard. Here comes Grief. I don't have any cards in hand. Ah, they scoop it up. Yeah, the writing is on the wall. If they don't have any outs to this ensnaring bridge, eventually I'll get over the line. And with Jace, like I said, I have a lot more control over the bridge. Cool. Taking down match 1 feels good, and we'll go on to the next one. Back in action. Game 2. On the play. Hands okay. Gonna keep. Okay, they're gonna take a mulligan. James Kazao is turn 1. Let's play a basic island and ponder. Against an opponent who mulligans, another force is nice. And then I guess we can pitch Jace to force if we don't have to this turn. Because I was really hoping that ponder would come up with a land. However, I don't want to just draw blind. Next turn I'll play a Baleful Strix and hopefully get a land off that. And if not, maybe my, defense grid. Oh, well, gonna be forcing that one. Mox Opal. This, well, at first my knee-jerk reaction was show and tell, but now I think it might be that Karn deck. Karn Forge, Karn Echoes, Karn's Palace of Sin, whatever you want to call it. Fatal Push, guaranteed to not be impactful unless they go all in on an Urza's Saga construct. Speak the devil's name and it will appear. Grim Monolith, okay. The One Ring. Yeah, I'm gonna counter this. That's like your one form of defense against that card. It's indestructible, so you can't K-command it. I'm not running that new card, Cast into Flames or something. It's from LOTR, and it exiles an artifact, which is pretty cool. Also hits Kaldra. Its other mode is like Fire, so it can deal 1 to up to 2 creatures, I think. Might hit something else too, but pretty cool card. If it wasn't 2 mana, I'd consider it. It's just a little inefficient. But we'll see how necessary it becomes. I've seen the One Ring pop up in a lot of places. Brainstorm. Cool. Jace is probably not happening. Liliana is a route to victory. And I kind of want to keep Fatal Push for the second construct. Baleful Strix has the front half handled. I guess Snap can be for later too. And yeah, if I had put Liliana back, I just don't really have a plan going forward. I could put it back and count on Snapcaster Ponder to formulate a plan. I'm just not sure about that. Liliana could also rebuy a Strix if it ends up chump blocking. Or not chump blocking, trading. Very different. And yeah, Fatal Push. It'll do something. Right now, it's Hymn to Turok time. I want double blue. This is the triple Jace experience. Jackpot. If there was a spell snare for 4-drops, I would run 4 of them against this deck. Look at this Murderer's Row of colorless 4-drops. Mystic Forge, Karn the Great Creator, and the One Ring. I think they even run Karn Scion too, or some older builds did. They probably just run the One Ring instead these days. It's quite strong. Karn Scion is like pretty good. There was massive buzz when it was released, and people were like, oh, you know, Teferi, Hero Dominaria, I don't know, it's 5 mana. Guess which one took off? It wasn't Karn. Speaking of Karn, we're probably screwed. Even though we got rid of one, they just had another one. This deck runs the full 4. Paradox Engine. A card that would not make you any friends at an EDH table. Oh, I think it's banned. Another Hymn to Turok. We just have to do it. We can't afford to invest in Liliana right now. That Paradox Engine is going to ruin everything. Although they might, I think they can just Lattice right now, can't they? Yeah, I mean, our backs were against the wall. It's not like we could have answered Karn anyways. Or wait, no, they cannot Lattice just yet. Mystic Forge. Alright, we're praying, absolutely praying for Kolaghan's command off the top. Lightning Bolt will also do some damage control, depending on our luck. Lion's Eye Diamond. I mean, this deck runs 3. It's not impossible. Shock Karn, Shatter the Forge. Please. Our third hymn. It's not going to do it. Or we're going to get latticed out of this game. I'm pretty sure. Or wait. They can't wish anymore. That Karn's at 1. So we could minus, get Baleful Strix, or we could actually work towards the game plan. I don't think Liliana will be able to get an emblem before they can lattice. Let's go like this. We did not mill over a K command, good. That would have broke my heart. They're untapping with Forge and Karn though, although they already had to spend their exile effect. They can untap with Voltaic Key, but they're going for the mana of Grim Monolith. Looks like they're going to tutor up an artifact. The One Ring, sure. Could be worse. Don't get me wrong, it's still terrible. In concert with Voltaic Key, they can draw immense amounts of cards. They are at 7 life. That's not to be discounted. Maybe the burden counters will kill them, but probably not. With Mystic Forge, Lion's Eye Diamond is just Black Lotus. Kind of cool. Alright, they have protection from everything, so no Hymn to Turok to be had. I didn't want to anyways. They only have 1 card, and they'll be playing off the top of their deck. Tick this up. Play Lost Strix. Thoughtseize, nobody. Someday we'll be able to Thoughtseize Planeswalkers, because in the lore of Magic, if you're playing, you are a Planeswalker. Thoughtseize Karn, take away some loyalty, or whatever the next thing he'd wish for. No, not a legal play, we'll pass. They're going to 6. That Ancient Tomb is starting to look sketchy. They probably don't need it though. They've got Voltaic Key, Grim Monolith. They're drawing 2 cards. Okay, they're untapping Grim Monolith. They could just lattice here. Okay, but they're going to have some fun first. Not until you play Defense Grid will I give up on this Fatal Push being relevant. Or is this going to be the lattice? Tormod's Crypt. Sure. That's what? 7 more cards from the ring if they Voltaic Key it? Insane, huh? Let's see if they respect Lightning Bolt. Usually my decks have 4, so... But also, they probably can tell something's up. All these hymns and Lilianas. It's like you stepped into the past. If we somehow get another turn, and they can't remove these burden counters... I think I played against an 8-cast deck that used Emery to continually loop 1 rings. Since they're legendary, the legend rule applies, and you can effectively reset those burden counters. But if they can't do anything like that, and I somehow survive, although I'm pretty sure this deck can likely make a humongous Walking Ballista. If they get impatient, though... Okay, there's Defense Grid. Let's see what you got. I have a good idea of what this deck does to win, but I'd like to see. Just in case something crazy happens. And we'll need every advantage we can get to win with our 2018 deck. Grim Monolith, yeah. If you're too hungry for power with that 1 ring, though, you might deck yourself. Okay, you have 4 cards in deck. You have 33 cards in hand. You're going to play another ring. Okay, that's what I was talking about with the legend rule. Get those burden counters out of there. Storm's 7. Tendrils is a win. Grape Shot is not.
Empty is probably a win. I don't have my marsh casualties. Alright, more mana. Emrakul, holy cow. Still not good enough. Karn, okay. That'll probably do it. Walking Ballista. I'm sure you all enjoyed that immensely. It's a very cool deck. Alright. Now for sideboarding, I suppose I have Pithing Needle for Karn. Pithing Needle Mystic Forge is not very effective. They won't be able to exile the top of their deck if there's something dead on top, but that's literally it. Usually this deck has Echo of Aeons, but this one doesn't seem like it does. And even then, red blasting that isn't super effective when the rest of their deck is like completely immune to red blast. I like Surgical Extraction. If I can clip something huge like Karn and then just extract it. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot this league. We're just kind of, it's, hey, everyone knows we're at a disadvantage. We're here to have fun. Legacy has changed so much. Dreadbore hits Karn, even though I prefer Lightning Bolt. I think Diabolic Edict is very poor. On the play, I guess I'll keep him around. If I can cut their resources, that would be good. Gurmag Angler is all but guaranteed to be smaller than Construct tokens, but if I can control them and end the game quickly, that would be good. Triple K Command, beautiful. Lightning Bolt, good. I guess I can trim a little bit of top end. As we saw, Liliana is really not doing her thing here. I don't think they run a single X1. They have a 0/0, Walking Ballista. Yeah, we'll cut her. Fatal Push is also pretty poor, but I don't have Meltdown or anything. My worst nightmare is answering Urza's Saga Constructs 1-for-1. I didn't anticipate having to do that when I thought up this idea. I should have thought about it. Cut Fatal Push. Have no fear. Alright, see what we can do. I like Double Force. If I had Hymn to Turok to go along with this, we might hamstring them, but instead we're going to try and chomp chomp with the big fish. They're keeping 7 though, that's unfortunate. Alright, Ponder. Inquisition might be too slow. I think 4 drops are what I want to take. It might be too late to clip a key or a monolith, but it's probably better than anything else. I'll draw it next turn. Probably shuffle away land number 4. I think that will naturally show up in my 21 land deck. Lotus Petal. Leading on City of Traders, I'm never too sad to see that because it means their mana is not very stable, especially with Grim Monolith. Yeah, that can't happen. Do I pitch Jace though? I think I pitched the other Force. There's no guarantee I'll have another blue card. Okay, that goes down without a fight. And now their mana is a bit tenuous, especially if I can grab a key out of their hand. We're so close to being able to get Gurmag Angler in. Oh, well, that's a scary hand, alright. I would have liked to take Karn. Taking Monolith isn't horrible. This is 4 to 1 tap. Yeah, their mana is super sketch. If they stumble a little bit, they might be a certain fishy's lunch. Yeah, they just have to pass. Beautiful. Do I want land number 4 in this case? They might entirely pop off next turn, but a guaranteed Jace on turn 4 is not horrible. It just feels a little slow compared to the, well, whole format. It's what we're doing, though. I think I'd rather take my chances. If I draw like Kolgon's Command, I would be a lot happier. Or even like Baleful Strix. Just augment this clock a little bit, gum up the board. Stuff like that. So I say shuffle. Surgical Extraction. Well, that will mess up their hand pretty good, wouldn't it? Still don't like Karn. But I'll take this 2 for 1. Okay, they drew Basalt Monolith. This Karn's still scary, but Gurmag Angler will pressure it pretty significantly. Urza's Workshop. That's a strong card. I haven't really seen it in action too often, but there was a lot of buzz when I got spoiled way back when, and hasn't really seen play since. Okay, yeah, just the Great Creator. No Scion of Urza. 4 Sagas, of course, 3 Paradox Engines, 3 Mystic Forge. I assume the 4th one is in the sideboard for Karn. Emrakul, 4 Defense Grids. They really don't want us messing with their stuff. Alright. I summon Gurmag Angler. From the murky depths he comes. Inquisition's bad, let's be honest. I could snap and take Basalt Monolith, but no. If I draw snap, I'm pondering and looking for Force of Will. Well, there's Urza's Workshop. There's Basalt Monolith. They will have Karn. Unless I draw him to Turok, Kolgon's Command can shatter the Monolith and knock the Karn out. Surgical does nothing right now. Start the clock. Alright. What's the worst that could happen? Probably something really bad. Worth noting, this also does not untap. All these monoliths, they have trouble getting up. Ensnaring Bridge. Hey, that's my card. No guarantee they'll be able to cast that. Alright, well, definitely go after Karn here. It's tempting to try and get over the finish line, but it's just, no. Can't allow them to untap with that thing. Cool. Looks like it was more of a Hail Mary. Lightning Bolt, okay. I could get another Gurmag in. Yeah, I think that's fine. Put them on a 1-turn clock. Or wait, no, that doesn't work. With no Karns, though, they're going to have a hard time winning this game, I think. No, they could totally still go the hell off, but Karn is a big help in that regard, and without him, it'll be pretty hard for them. That's what these lightning bolts are for. There's a Saga. It's not going to be fast enough. Wait, it totally is. They'll go Grim Monolith, and then they'll go Ensnaring Bridge. That is too bad. My fish won't attack. Let's see. Yeah, there's no point in hanging on to this bolt. Karn's gone. These constructs are going to be arriving as 5/5s. It's time to enter the reach part of the game. Him. Take away their Paradox engine. Even though I'm working hard against them having 5 cards in hand. They draw another Saga. That's pretty good for them. Not great for us. If I can somehow extract Mystic Forge, maybe we'll get going. Alright, speaking of getting going, let's Jace, try and find K-Command. They'll probably get Pithing Needle. I should have checked for that. Nope, but there is a snap. And also Baleful Strix might be able to get over the line. It's the one card that I could see attacking. Even though it is hard for them to have cards stuck in their hand. Alright, there's that. Snap Surgical Paradox Engine. We're just maybe trying to get everything that is scary out of their deck. Alright, they're building a robot army. They probably want Voltaic Key, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, Manifold Key. Well, yeah, same thing, except this one could make this something unblockable. They're probably not super stoked about Ensnaring Bridge anymore, but it was necessary to keep them alive at that one point. Alright. Snap in conjunction with Jace can just continually cast everything in my graveyard, which is pretty cool. Bolt only once, though. So maybe I search for my second lightning bolt, so I have the reach to get there. Kolaghan's Command also does it. And something tells me I'll have a lot of time to do this. Or I could just find the other lightning bolt. None of this matters. Let's go! Or wait, I can't do this turn. I'm getting ahead of myself. So instead, let's play Strix out. And plan to snap bolt at end of turn, or maybe even K-Command something. More giant constructs. They've got 40 power and toughness on board. Okay, they've packed it up. They didn't need to see it. I'm sure they could surmise that I have reach in my deck. Perhaps they can't remove their own bridge either. 8 cast decks can because they have Psi. But I don't know if these Paradox Karn decks have a sack outlet. Alright. I don't think anything changes from play to draw, although him to Turok seems even less likely to get the job done. I didn't see any targets for Flusterstorm. I could bring in a Jace instead just to up my blue card count. And as we saw, still does really great stuff. Yeah, I could buy that. They also empty their hands so quickly. They're kind of meant to do the Mystic Forge thing, not the have lots of cards in hand thing. Oh boy. I don't know if this is good enough, folks. Surgical extraction, like I said, is just, it's not effective until I've actually dealt with stuff. Let's throw it back. I kind of really need Force of Will. Well, I guess I'll take Pithing Needle. And I think Fatal Push is the send. If it's looking like I need to Needle Saga, sure. But I think more likely needling Karn is the move. Defense Grid. I don't care. In my heart I care. But my hand does not care. Thoughtseize would be great here. It's very likely they'll have 4 mana next turn. Well, Kolaghan's command could do some cool stuff. I could also Pithing Needle the One Ring. I just have no idea what they have. With that in mind, maybe I just want them to make a move first, and then I answer what they have. It's just so scary. They all get massive value on entrance except maybe Mystic Forge. Although Mystic Forge could get the most value. You just never know. Depends how the deck is stacked. One thing is certain. I'm pondering. Pithing Needle in the blind is stupid. Okay, cool. Put that underneath and then brainstorm it away, question mark. Basalt Monolith, sure. Manifold Key, that's a lot of mana. There's Karn. What's the get? Paradox Engine. Scary. Can't Pithing Needle that. You can K-command it, however. So what's the name here? I'm sure the comments will have a lot of cool ideas for this. Karn's the obvious choice. It's a scary planeswalker. It's face up. Manifold Key is an option. That could crimp their mana and prevent them from really going off. However, there are other keys with different names, like Voltaic Key. So they go land. Ancient Tomb is 3 mana. Untap that. They can cast Paradox Engine. If this defense grid wasn't here, I could force it, and then I think we'd be sitting pretty. Many timelines diverging here, but I think the obvious play is to name Karn with Pithing Needle. Let's brainstorm. Him do Turok. Well, if something goes nutty, and they actually have stuff in their hand next turn, that could be good. It's better than Force of Will. I guess I don't need to shuffle, though. I'll probably want to shuffle this Force of Will, or if not, I'll want it, yeah, when I draw it, if it's still there. But I'll probably definitely be spending 3 mana on something next turn. It's probably going to be K-Command. If they just Paradox Engine and can't do anything else, then I untap and K-Command. That might not be so bad. Hitting Defense Grid is what I thought I was going to do, but now I don't think I have that luxury. Anyways, the clock is ticking. Pithing Needle. Karn the Great Creator. Still can't activate this Pithing Needle. The passive remains. Alright, here we go. Do they have the land? They have a pedal. That'll do in a pinch. Paradox Engine. Do you have 0? You don't. What luck. So I think we Shock Shatter. I'm sure there's something scary in their hand, but what else can I do? That Karn is Pithing Needled. So we will definitely be Raven's Criming. Last game, they definitely showed us they don't have a way to destroy artifacts. Or else they would have gotten rid of that ensnaring bridge, I'm sure. Or maybe Shock would have been better than Raven's Crime. They just ditched another useless Karn. That's a lot of defense grids. So if I want to cast a spell, Force of Will costs 9 mana. That's hilarious. Alright, I think the new plan is Fate Seal until I win. It's not going to work, but I'm going to try. None of my counter magic will ever work. Setting up for their turn is what this deck does, and I don't have any kind of sweeper for artifacts. 3 defense grids. I'm already through 1 Kolaghan's Command. I do have Snapcaster Mage, but I'd rather just fight their stuff that actually matters. Can't get rid of it. Last match we saw an Ensnaring Bridge win. I think the people deserve a J-Salt. Paradox Engine? Do I care? Doesn't kill me. You can have Paradox Engine. It probably makes their future draws scarier. Yeah, they can't even cast that. If they do, their Ancient Tomb might kill them. Well, I mean, they're at 12. It'd take a lot of reach. I am really wishing that I did Shock and not Raven's Crime with this Kolaghan's Command. Alright, we see a pass here. Okay, more land is nice. Before I ponder, let's take a look. Another Karn. No. They're going to untap their Basalt Monolith, sure. Ugh. Yeah, whatever. Bolt you. We'll see what works first. The J-Salt or the Reach. Yep. Paradox Engine. Inquisition, useless. City of Traders. No, that's good. They go ahead and attack for 1. And then we'll F6. Alright, passing the turn there. Untap the Monolith. What do we draw? Another Strix. What do they draw? Saga. Scary, but won't be good enough in time. Alright, we got them at 5. One thing I didn't think about with Saga is that it does give them a shuffle, which is kind of scary. But I think we'll exile their whole deck before that happens. Let's remove my upkeep stop. More land, sure. Another Saga. Take it. Play a Strix out. More land, huh? The cool thing about the Jace ultimate is that if you're just plussing from 3 after resolution, he sticks around at 1 loyalty. Most planeswalkers, you're just racing to that ultimate and they're gone, but not Jace. I've never had a game continue after a Jace ultimate, however. They're quite gnarly. Alright, F6, F6. Passing. My draw step. Another land. Hit them with the Hymn to Turok for good measure. And we got it. 2-0. Here we are in round 3. Losing the die roll. Let's keep this hand though. Nice mix of stuff. Hopefully I don't get turned one. Mountain Go. Interesting. Not a common start in Legacy. Let's get these stops back. I think I will lead with Basic Swamp. It plays around Blood Moon. It doesn't preclude a turn 2 Hymn to Turok. And it casts this Thoughtseize. Ah, Painter. These triple red blasts are going to be pretty annoying. But hopefully him just lights this hand up pretty hard. They kept a 1-lander. Painter is the most castable card out of these. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is the strongest on its own. This is also just a combo piece though. And in concert with Painter's Servant, these red blasts can just start blowing up my lands, so that would be bad. Let's keep Painter off the board. Alright, and they hit the land too, so fortunately for us, made the right call. Let's go ahead and get Underground Sea here. Want to be able to cast a Jace eventually. And if we hit Fury Fable, I'll be feeling good. Couple Rebs down. That's not bad either. We'll have to work through them eventually. I mean, I play a lot of blue cards. That's no secret. They're curving out. And they still have a red up because it was Ancient Tomb. In light of that... Ooh, Force of Will. That's cool. I'm not above pointing that at a Fury. I don't think I'll need to... We know what their hand is, so they're not going to combo me out of nowhere, I don't think. So I can probably take the turn off K-Command. Them getting a... Well, actually, there's the whole Fable thing, so... I have Force of Will. I mean, they have Pyroblast. That would require them to probably pitch it, though. Sure, let's see what they do about this Strix. They might want to Pyroblast it. They sure do. Now let's Ponder. More K-Commands are nice. I really want to land, though. Just gonna have to trust that it'll happen. Snapcaster Mage is really good, too. I found their hand quite weak when I thought seized, and now they're doing just fine. We are ahead on cards. Okay, they pitch Grindstone and Fury, so we have no idea what's in their hand. Saga. And Servant. Alright, Cake Man looking pretty good here. They have tons of mana. We'll be drawing Snapcaster Mage for a while. Let's do this now before they... I could do this on upkeep, I guess. Ah, what the heck. No difference in my mind. I wish I could ignore this Shaman, but I could see those treasure tokens being relevant for construct size. Let's hope they just keep drawing lands, huh? Maybe they made a vow. If I could just draw lands for the rest of the game, I will keep this one lander. Cue Monkey Paw. Goblin Welder's pretty scary. So is Reflection. I guess I'll just have to force any creature they try to put in, because I do need to answer this Welder. The Welder's big trouble. Now if they fooled me and didn't make a construct there, they could have untapped with Welder. But in my heart I knew that was not going to happen. I guess they can still Reflection a construct token. That's pretty good. And me at 14 could be close. Let's see what they tutor up here. I'm guessing Grindstone, but it also, because I think they have plenty of mana, but it could also be a value piece like Soul Guide Lantern. Okay, it is Soul Guide Lantern. I had a feeling. Working on the K commands, making my snaps look bad. And they're just going to get in for damage here. That makes sense. I had a feeling Saga was going to be a hard card to beat. Alright here, what can I do about this Reflection? Lightning Bolt? Jace that I can't cast? How about a little Help Ponder? This is too bad. I can't really rely on Snapcaster Mage either. Is Brainstorm better than a random card? Not with this spread. Gurmag Angler. The fish gets in the way. Hopefully it's big enough. I'll force just about anything. They might just still push damage though, we'll see. Okay, they're drawing a card. Snapcaster's back online. 2 turns away from Snap K command though, if I draw lands. A land would be nice if I can just Jace, bounce construct token. Fury. That's interesting. It doesn't trade with Gurmag Angler, but Reflection Fury would be a really scary thing to have to reckon with. I'm going to counter this. No attacks. Alright, any land gets me Jace. Brainstorm, okay. Woof. No love. This has been pretty tough. It's pretty unlikely to miss on lands like that, but here we are. Definitely take the Fable. Aye aye aye. Simian Spirit Guide. It could go all Grey Ogre on us. And that would be a little scary. Just more threats when I'm at 9 life. They don't have much life either though. They're at 12. I wonder if I should just start attacking. Now they're at 10. They could band their whole board together. Oh wait, no. Reflection is live. They could band all their non-reflection together and trade with Gurmag Angler. And I can't do a darn thing about it. Alright, snap. It's time to ponder. Aha. That makes sense. They didn't play a land. And it's rare if the best thing you can do is just play a Grey Ogre. Maybe I should have attacked there. They couldn't win on the crackback. I don't think anyways. It's just against my sensibilities to be aggressive with this deck. But it's probably the lines that'll pay out the most, given the deck is a little out of date. Well, let's try this again, huh? Wahoo! Maybe you just brainstorm, though. These two Jaces are so silly. Well, Fatal Push is kind of cool. Or it will be. Just gotta fade some hot fire from them for one turn, and then I think we can actually do something. They're building out their army, though. Our time is short, I reckon. Alright, Goblin Welder. They could get a Welder online right now if they use Reflection. Yeah, looks like that's what they're gonna do. They could flip this construct into Soul Guide Lantern, maybe? Painter's Servant? Oh, they want Soul Guide Lantern, yeah. Very interesting. Maybe for the card draw. Or maybe just to make sure no more Kolaghan's commands happen. If I can trigger Revolt, well, actually I think I just still need to point Fatal Push at Goblin Welder, unless for some reason they feel forced into chump blocking with it. But I doubt that will happen. Lightning Bolt would be great. Hey, look at that. Let's take the turn off the land drop. I wanted it so badly, but now that it's finally come, there's things we must do instead. Fatal Push the construct. Get on down. If they don't block, we just got them dead on board. Okay, they're going to trade. And Lightning Bolt Goblin Welder. You just gotta. Next turn, if all goes according to plan, we can bounce Reflection and attack for the win. Or if they have like a Fable, we can bounce the Shaman token and force Reflection to chump block. They also might be too scared to tap Ancient Tomb. Or not scared, but you know what I mean. They might play around Lightning Bolt and not use Ancient Tomb, which would really impact their mana for the turn. And Gurmag Angler, still dodging Fury. The card refuses to be irrelevant. Okay, another Spirit Guide, sure. Yeah, if their last card's Red Blast, that would be pretty bad. But I think we'll be able to fight through it. They're treading water, and their mana is not super reliable. Shuffle away that Jace there. What's the get here? I'll get an island. You never know when you'll see that pre-board Magus of the Moon out of this deck. Let's go ahead and bounce the Grey Ogre. They did not have Red Blast. That's cool. Okay, sure. So they don't have to chump just yet. I messed this up. I should have bounced the reflection. That was silly of me. Now Fury does kind of impact this board, despite putting them to 1. Hopefully we just time walked and then I have a Jace this time. I don't think bouncing reflection does that much though, because they still just copy the Spirit Guide on the way out. Taking out Jace. Probably a smart decision. I kind of forgot this card could attack, honestly. It's just usually never doing that. Maybe we'll just draw Lightning Bolt or Snapcaster Mage. Goblin Engineer, yep. And a Painter Servant. Oh boy, now or never, huh? Or that's not really true. They have to block. Diabolic Edict, cool. They get to choose both times which creatures go. Blocking the Painter, sure. Then before they can untap with this, let's do that. Okay, they're hanging on to Engineer. That's interesting. They don't currently have another artifact to sacrifice to the Engineer. They can unearth the Dragon Engine and draw 3 cards, which would be pretty devastating. Going to 1. Yep, that's the move. They drew Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. Mox Opal. No Metalcraft yet. And ideally, they'll have to leave the Engineer back to block. Might as well attack with that. It's going away. As per the unearthing rules. Alright, how about a bit of reach? Boo. Well, hit him with the hymn. Breya's Apprentice. Scary stuff. I'm glad they didn't play that. Or couldn't, rather. Alright. This is one scenario where I'm okay with you drawing Urza's Saga. Did we get there? Nope, not yet. We'll play the same turn again. But maybe I'll draw some reach. Fatal Push is live. So much stuff is live. Strix, not quite. But it will be next turn. Oh, it's killing me. Okay, that is good enough for them. I guess 1 card would be hard to pull off. Even Fury doesn't do it. Well, Fury would keep them alive for yet another turn. Okay, anyways. Sideboarding. Do I just bring in Pithing Needle all the time? There's always going to be that 1 card in all these new decks I just can't beat. Minsk and Boo, Urza's Saga, Goblin Welder. This time it is a combo deck though, so maybe Needle on Grindstone is actually really good. The Blue Blasts, I brought those in without comment because it's pretty self-explanatory. When they've got 5 drops and 3 drops that are red, this card will be great. What else? Dreadbore, maybe? This list does feel kind of light on removal. Just 2 push, 2 bolt, and then some rather unreliable edicts, although 3K command is pretty solid. Maybe we saw how wide their board got. And it does happen kind of often, and usually Deluge for just 3 can get the job done. Marsh Casualties, I don't think so. Surgical Extraction's not bad. They're a deck that tutors stuff into the graveyard, and then Welder deals with the graveyard. And if I can extract their combo, then I'm not under the gun so much. We can cut a couple Jaces. We saw that they have like probably between 6 and 8 Red Blasts. Force of Will. They are a combo deck, but they play to the board. Creature combo. Diabolic Edict seems quite poor. Liliana is good on the play. Ticking up on a Goblin Welder would be quite nuts, but on the draw, we could probably just stick with one. Discard spells are probably one of my only avenues into fighting this thing. I'm going to cut a land on the draw. I know it's against the spirit of the times, but I do just fine with 20 lands. Don't worry, on the play I'll bring it back. This hand is not good. I'm going to mulligan this. There's no blue mana. Much better. Keep, and we will send probably Surgical Extraction. It's my only free interaction, though. I'll send Baleful Strix. Hopefully one is sufficient. Ancient Tomb. Painter's Servant. Everything is blue. All right. Before they can untap, I will immediately tap this thing and have the Scarecrow disassemble. Unfortunately, this means I can't hold up Blue Blast for that card I was just about to say. I do have Blue Blast for the back half, though, and maybe Strix will just block the Shaman token. Alright, we're hitting lands. Gurmag did wonderful stuff last game. Maybe it will again. I could also just Surgical right here, not worry about the combo. I'll wait till their draw step. That'll put some number of bad draws into their deck in the form of Grindstone. Hopefully they have some in hand. They ran out that first one pretty quickly. Nope. Their hand is scary. Oh, geez. Yeah, this is bad. They just throw in another Fable. That's going to be hard to keep up with value-wise. Magus of the Moon, confirmed. Well, I got basics, so I'm not too scared about that. Yep. 8 red blasts. What a nightmare. But as you can see, they'll have a hard time fighting Gurmag Angler. Alright. They pitch Grindstone Mountain. They attack. I am happy to block. Baleful Strix is better in the graveyard most of the time because of Kolaghan's command. The other upside of getting Painter out is that if I'm just pivoting onto black threats, their red blasts can just be completely dead. I mean, they'll never really be truly dead because I have so many blue cards in my blue deck. Yep, another Fable. That makes sense to me. It's going to be tough. Their hand is super value positive. And they're able to get Breya's Apprentice through. Yeah, this is bad. Couldn't catch any of this on the stack. Snapcaster Mage, yep. Alrighty. Is it possible I should be blue blasting this? I don't think so. I need to deal with the reflections. Perhaps snap push on the Shaman token, or maybe I can just trade with it. Flash and Snapcaster. In combat, destroy one of the reflections and trade with Shaman token. That's all assuming they don't cast a red spell I just have to interact with. They're ditching Goblin Engineer. There's no time to wait. Okay, they had the Pyroblast anyways. I don't think this is my fight. Alright. See what they flip. It's just the Grey Ogre. Not so bad. I mean, having a wide board is really good though, so they might just cast that. They're down to 10. Yep, I'm not going to blue blast it. Maybe I blue blast Bray's Apprentice though. They'll have 2 reflections, and I probably won't be able to deal with both of them, unfortunately. I want them to rely on Ancient Tomb, so maybe Gurmag Angler can be scary and they won't feel like they can attack. Let's brainstorm. Oh, let's go to their end step. If I can expect to be able to deal with both reflections, then okay, it's not looking like it. Alright. One of the reflections will have Summoning Sickness, but it also, I know what I'm drawing for my next turn. Okay, take that, I guess. They can unearth it. It'll cost them some life. Oh, definitely use this. I need that Gurmag in. And then this game becomes pretty straightforward. If they can deal with the Gurmag Angler, then we lose. It all depends what they're willing to sacrifice. I'm at 15, so pushing damage won't be super easy. And they just draw a Lotus Petal. We might be in a standoff for a little bit. They want to draw those 3 cards. Him to Turok looking a little better then. It's unlikely they'll be able to make use of all 3 of them. A Pitchcast Fury would be devastating. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Alright, well, they're just making another Shaman token here. So they'll be able to get some good damage through. I'm definitely going to block the original Shaman token though. I think if they had Fury, they would have just remained it and then copied it with Reflection, I think. Maybe not though. Magus of the Moon, sure. That'll make their mana better. Alright, now I can't afford to attack, obviously. But if I attack and force them to block, I take 6 down to 1, and then yeah, they can just get over the line pretty easily. They can also go wide around me pretty easily here. They just need to copy both of their threats pre-combat each turn. Grindstone, sure. Doesn't seem to be the play though, or they'll just wait till their end step. Let's go to the next one. They'll overrun me. Alright, don't think anything changes here. I'm on the play. So maybe Diabolic Edict becomes better. And Dreadbore. Dreadbore would have been really nice there, actually. Just easier to remove stuff, unconditional. Yeah. And then I suppose we can lose another force. Alright, let's go for it. It's risky, but Blue Blast, Lightning Bolt. Well, I have a draw step and a brainstorm. I'm sure we'll get over the line. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I can't let that happen. Not this early in the day. Blue Elemental Blast. Cool. Ponder. Much better at finding a land drop than Brainstorm. Ay ay ay. Shuffle. Thank the Lord. Okay. I feel pretty good now. Magus of the Moon. Sure. That sets them back a land drop, but I didn't get my basic island in response, so I'll just Lightning Bolt right now. Stay on curve here. How about another land? Ooh, that's good too. I should probably hold that up then. I'll look for a land drop too. Wow. So elusive. Is Dreadbore just poor? I don't think so. But if I'm just fighting on the stack, then I can probably shuffle it away. If I was a little more confident, I would have actually gotten rid of Force of Will and just kept all my cards that are more profitable interactions. Okay, there's Badlands. Unfortunately, this means I can't hold up Blue Blast, so I'll probably end up forcing something this turn. Unless nothing happens, or it's something I can deal with at a later time, like Goblin Welder. And then I should plan to Gurmag Angler next turn because I am running low on clock. There's Goblin Welder. And a pass. Alright. Blue Blast this. Gurmag that. Force of Will something else. Dreadbore perhaps another thing. Let's see if we can get over the line. Welder is good. Engineer. I'm going to force that one. They can put the Dragon Engine in the yard. They don't have another artifact, so I'm going to see if they actually chump first. They might. Nope. Okay. Hit that with Dreadbore. This could blow up at any second. Sure. City of Traders. And another Spirit Guide. Okay. It's a good way to tread water. K-Command. Nice. Let's go ahead and swing in. They'll probably be blocking. No? Well, nothing else is face up. Let's end the game. Very cool. All right. Up against the Great Cherry Man in round 4. Island Ponder. They're on an Ancient Tomb strategy. Ah, they might be playing the same deck that we faced in round 2. Manifold Key only really pops up in one place, doesn't it? I doubt we'll get them with another Jace Ultimate, but we'll see. Okay. Definitely want to Force of Will against this deck, and then we'll draw a land, and from there, hopefully all our dreams come true. And maybe we'll Hymn to Turok somewhere in there. I don't know. Another Ancient Tomb. I gotta say, I've faced tons of Ancient Tomb strategies today, but none of them... I mean, this isn't really the right deck to capitalize on that, since I'm only running 2 Lightning Bolts. 3 Kolaghan's commands is pretty nifty, though. Scalding Tarn. Brainstorm. Couple of lands. I feel like their hand is likely to be empty by next turn. I don't know if Hymn to Turok is really that reliable. I think I can put back 1 land, and then a Fatal Push just seems so narrow. I don't know if it'll ever be good. Volcanic Island, I think. Then we'll Ponder, look for another Force of Will. No such luck, but Lightning Bolt for a Karn that ticks down is good. Yeah. Maybe shuffle away another Strix. I think that's better than having to draw a land a few turns from now. I don't know if we'll have time to cast Baleful Strix. Alright. Scary stuff. Yeah, Mystic Forge. Oh no. Really wanted K Command. Mox Opal. I think that was off the top. Okay. Sure. Alright, they're down to 10. If they use that Ancient Tomb too much, Snapcaster Mage could do some pretty nasty things in concert with Lightning Bolt. Yeah. So there's a Strix under that. Let's hit them with the Hymn. Get the hand empty. Another Mystic Forge goes down, and Inventor's Fair. Not sad to see that one go, since it gains life. Defense Grid, sure. Mystic Forge exiles the top card. They play Urza's Saga from hand. Hopefully that won't get there in time. Karn. Uh-oh. No one expects to get burned out by Grixis Control. See what happens here. The One Ring. Alright, well, that does work. They'll have protection from everything. How about a Lightning Bolt? Force of Will. It'll be a little slow. But maybe not. We'll see. They'll take 1 from their burden counter. They'll be at 4. They're kind of gated on mana as well. So it's possible they'll tap Ancient Tomb. Or Mystic Forge. Ooh, not gated on mana anymore, I'll tell you that. Petal. Echo of Aeons. We'll counter that. And pitch Baleful Strix. They'll spin again. Hopefully they just can't go off here. It's not looking good though. They have tons of mana. Oh yeah, Mesmeric Orb. They'll mill their whole deck. But with 2 life, I mean, we'll see what happens. Aether Flux Reservoir. That's pretty much deterministic. We can go to the next game. Sure was close. Surgical Extraction. This deck is on the Echoes. Dreadbore hits Karn. Sure. Ensnaring Bridge. They don't need to win through combat, so I don't think that's really good enough. Oh, last game though. Pithing Needle on Karn did some cool stuff. What else? Diabolic Edict was kind of poor. Fatal Push was not great. I'll just have 2 Surgicals. Or, I mean, this is really kind of the only leverage I have. 3 K commands, though. That's also pretty good. We'll cut that, and 1 Jace. Or Liliana really doesn't do anything, huh? Up the blue card count. And give it a shot. No way Cherryman's making mistakes, though. We'll have to get a little lucky. Yeah, I can work with this. Cherryman takes a mulligan. I think it's pretty normal for a deck like that to take a mulligan, though. So I doubt we have any free advantage from that. Force of Will. Sure thing. Don't know if I'll need Lightning Bolt. We'll see. Really missing Meltdown here. Not that it would help against the ring. Ancient Tomb. Defense Grid. Well, I could just try to Kolaghan's Command this and save my resources. If I don't force this, I'm not forcing anything. That's tricky. It seems fairly likely that they'll just go off next turn. K-Command on their turn could be significant as well. Dreadbore will never happen on their turn. And maybe Force will be better later on. Given our deck's power levels, I don't know if I can afford to spend 2 cards here. I think the world in which I win this game is one in which I'm using K command to destroy the grid and also take another resource and then actually answer something they spend like 4 mana on with Force of Will, spending 2 cards on something like that. So it's really risky, but I think this is the one that gives us victory the most, or gives us the most likely victory. And let's get Baleful Strix in there. I'll shuffle away the Lightning Bolt, unfortunately. But if they play Karn next turn, I'm going to have to be Dreadboring it anyway. I can just Dreadbore it. I want double blue. I don't know if double black will be relevant. I can get red off Bloodstained Mire next turn. Might as well just start rounding out colors, though. Play the Strix out. Land number 4 for Jace, even though in my mind I am pitching that to Force. Here we go. Okay, Mystic Forge. I think I'd rather hit that with K-Command. And they just stop. They don't even exile the top of their deck. That's very interesting. Maybe it's something they want to draw. That's scary. Well, hopefully they just keep setting up, huh? What's a card that would be good with Mystic Forge in play and not if not? Okay, they don't do it anyways. They want to draw whatever's there. If they play Urza's Saga, they'll lose out on City. Grim Monolith? Sure. Is that coming with a key? Sure is. They go so well together. Yep. The One Ring. That's something I would have forced if I could. They'll draw a card. You know, the Jace Fate Seal's not even going to be that relevant, unfortunately, since Manifold Key and the One Ring can kind of just roll all over that. We're really missing Narset or Leovold effects here. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. Get my big fishy out. This kind of is bad for future Snapcaster mages, though, because Kolaghan's Command is so good in this matchup. But, you know, I gotta try and win. And then I can hold up Force of Will with this 3 mana left over. Let's see what happens, huh? Oh, right. Whoops. I do it to send a message. They're drawing like mad. Gonna have to hope mana is their bottleneck, but, I mean, look what's going on over there. Soul lands, a monolith that you can untap. Madness. That's 6 mana right there. Still doesn't cast Karn and a Forge. Casts a Paradox Engine, though, which goes nuts with the One Ring. LED. I can't force this, can I? No, there's no way. If they try to spin here, that's good for me, I think. Oh, Dismember. No, they really care about this thing. I don't think this is my fight. If I force this Dismember and then they just spin and go off, that would be bad. I wonder if they were expecting that. More shitty, City of Traders. Excuse me. Karn. Gotta counter that. Right? If their last card is Echo, well, they'd spin me a new hand too. They'd just be protected by Defense Grid, which is really scary. I got them down to 1 card. I mean, they have the One Ring. It's not like it's gonna last forever. It's gonna be hard to keep up with this value for sure. Maybe Gurmag Angler was my fight. I'm almost certain their last card is Echo of Aeons. But I don't think they can have this. Okay. They burn off some mana. And we go to my turn. Ponder. I feel like I just can still never deal with this ring. And it's going to win. But let's see what we can find. Another Force of Will. That won't do much good. Hymn to Turok is pretty anemic. Do I just shuffle this? I think I have to. Lightning Bolt. Well, there's a world where I can get over the line. And I guess I'll want to be able to do it on their turn. So they go to 7 here. If they tap Ancient Tomb, they go to 5. It's a lot of cards, though. Okay, they're moving to untap the Monolith and not the ring. Basalt Monolith, okay. Another defense grid. Well, it's now or never on this, huh? Is this even good, though? I mean, they'll probably wheel, right? If I just constrict their options with mana and stuff. I don't know, man. It's probably bad. I don't think it's getting better, though. Have fun, Cherry Man. Okay, Echo. My hand does not contain a Lightning Bolt or a Kolaghan's Command. However, there are a lot of cantrips. But I'm certain they can probably draw their whole deck or darn near. City of Traders is their land drop for the turn. Well, their keys are making more mana. Now they have Karn the Great Creator. Let's see what they go for here. Mesmeric Orb. This is just about deterministic, I think, but it might take them a minute. Oh wait, no, it's not quite. It's not quite deterministic, since they needed that initial influx of mana. Yeah, I don't think this works, because there's an Echo, but... Wait, oh, right. But now, if they don't find a diamond, it might be hard for them to get off the ground and wheel again. I feel like Defense Grid was kind of gone from the meta for a while. I don't know if it was ever in the meta, actually, but when I started playing Legacy, back around, GP Richmond 2018, I did not really see Defense Grid. I didn't really start seeing it until around a year ago. And I could have just been... I might just be forgetting, or... Because it is an old card. I believe it's from Urza's Legacy. I was pontificating because I was sure I was dead, but looks like we're going to Game 3. Flabbergasted. On the draw, I don't think anything really changes here. We might need another Surgical, though, as free interaction. But it only really works when we already answer something. I think I've said that many times this league. We just have to fight on axes I'm not really used to because we don't have any of the updated forms of removal or interaction. They seem pretty in on the wheels, though. I think they're playing wheels instead of Paradox Engine, maybe? I'll take a Pyroblast. Probably going to be more useful than, like, Diabolic Edict, which I think is almost entirely useless. It does hit constructs, though. Maybe. It's pretty strange having 3 Jace the Mind Sculptors. I mean, I love the card, but it does feel like something I'm pitching to force more often than not. Quick keep of 7 over there. It's hard to throw back something like this. There's no Force of Will, but we got Surgical, Pyroblast for a wheel, Ponder can get us set up, Hymn to Turok. I don't know how much better than this it gets. Grim Monolith. And a pass. Okay. Discard off the top would also be nice, but I think Force of Will would be the best. Okay. Baleful Strix. That's a fine pitch to Force of Will, and there it is, speaking of which. Snapcaster is kind of a for later thing, although Snap Surgical can also help out. We'll put him under the bottom, 'cause we already have one, and we'll probably not have the luxury to cast more than one in quick succession. Urza's Saga. Scary stuff. Mystic Forge. Can't let that happen. Counter that. These constructs are going to be tough to beat. It is possible I should have pitched Ponder and not Baleful Strix for that reason. Alright, well, let's hit him with the hymn. Double Echo hits the yard. Do I extract those? I think it is hard for their deck to do the whole crazy thing if they don't have them. Okay, their hand is not strong. The One Ring is a one of. It's probably more... There's definitely one in the sideboard, though, for Karn. Walking Ballista. Yeah, Urza's Saga is going to be hard to beat, but maybe that's my Snap Surgical fight. I don't know if going after Mystic Forges is a reliable plan. And they're going to be able to make constructs. They've got Ancient Tomb. Basic Island, no follow-up. Thank the Lord. Little help here. Gurmag Angler. That it will actually just get hit with Dismember. Also, since I extracted the wheels, this Pyroblast is just completely dead. Kolaghan's Command. Wonderful. It's coming together. But I mean, I might as well, right? What else am I going to snap? Use... I could snap Ponder, I guess. Gurmag just seems like such a way to win the game. If I can just get them to use it on Snapcaster instead, that would be great. Yep. Construct number 2. Manifold Key. Scary stuff. Basalt Monolith. Yep. Defense Grid. Last card is Dismember. And these things are huge. And they can be unblockable. So we might be at the end here. Do I not have Fatal Push? I think they're out, yeah. Boy, now that's all I want. Diabolic Edict and Fatal Push. Ironic. Well, let's do what we can do. It's not impossible to find another one. Should have traded Pyroblast for Fatal Push, turns out. More defense grids, yep. Alright. Can we get there? No. I don't think there's a 1 mana thing that'll work either. Because like I said, I took it out. We'll take a look anyways. Ah, so close. Look how close this was. Alas. It's correct to put K-Command in my hand. If only I was on the play, huh? That's how close this stuff gets. All right. GG's, Cherry Man. Always a pleasure. And that will fall us to 3-1 there. I'll be back for the final round. Welcome back to the final round. We secured our positive record. We're 3-1. If we can get a 4-1 with this list, I think we'd do Reid Duke proud. We're up against a 61 card strategy, so maybe it's elves, which I traditionally enjoy Gurmag against. But I mean, yeah, there's a ponder as well. We're on the play. What could possibly go wrong? Tons of fetch lands to power out this Gurmag. Go ahead and get an Underground Sea. Keep the turn 2 Hymn to Turok Dream alive. Oh, I don't think I can afford to draw 2 more lands, even if there is a Strix among it. Okay, well, I got a land anyways. It's one of those games. Misty Rainforest. And pass. Okay, another ponder. If this gets dazed, that would be pretty bad, so I'll play a land out first. Here we go. Some cool black cards. Yeah, I want all of these. Perhaps him the least, though. They have 7 cards in hand. It's probably not going to make a huge difference. We'll hide Lily on top, put Fatal Push in hand, and pass the turn. Alright, they play another Rainforest. And they're going to pass to us. Starting to feel a lot like maybe Sneak and Show. Well, I'm going to bide my time a little more and also draw that Hymn to Turok on top. I think if anything really bad happens, Fatal Push can probably save us, right? There's a basic island. And another pass. Looking pretty sus, I don't know. We draw Hymn to Turok, which I'm going to yeet onto the stack here. See what they want to do about it. No more sitting around waiting. Brainstorm, Ponder go down. Very interesting. Cantripping into open mana is not really free anymore because of Bowmaster Mania. I could have played Gurmag Angler there, actually. Maybe that was the line. I'm not used to having Gurmag Angler, but let me tell you, it's done wonderful things this league. I miss this card. I used to play with it all the time. Tropical Island. Could be Omnitel. That deck is Simic if memory serves. But I don't think it would be on 61 cards. They kind of want their combo as localized as possible. It's a Bant strategy. Oh, okay. Delighted Halfling. One of these decks. Too bad it's a Mana Dork. That's not an X1. I feel like they did that so purposefully it could be a little more pushed. Doesn't get hit by Plague Engineer or Liliana the Last Hope. But it does get pushed all the same. If this is just a delighted pile, I think we can expect a pretty tough matchup here. Another land is not good. It's only a matter of time before I think they start unleashing Minsk and Boo. All kinds of crazy stuff. I'm going to lead on Gurmag Angler. See if they want to do anything about that. And I'll still play around Daze. I'll leave Hymn to Turok around. Okay, that's in there. What do you think about this one? They also don't care. Start ticking up. and hopefully find some non-lands coming up. Swords to Plowshares, yep. That's usually what happens to Gurmag Angler. Decides to become a farmer, that's always the fear. Narset, sure. Makes a lot of our top decks quite poor, if not all of them. Force of Will in hand, sure. And another Delighted Halfling. They are dedicated to having this card out, that's for sure. Lightning Bolt, cool. They can cast their big stuff anyways, and I don't have any counter spells, so I'm going to just point this at Narset. Keep working towards Zombie Mania. There's no point in playing out these lands either. I'll just pretend like I'm doing something scary. Looks like Minsk and Boo. Sure is. Uncounterable even. Okay. So I guess it's just a pile that can decide on a cut, so they ran 61 cards. Little help here. Jace. Not great. It's going to be really hard to deal with Planeswalkers in this deck. And we haven't really faced any in the league up until now. Force of Will. Pitching an Uro. Okay. Good to know about that one. Let's pack it up. They're going to untap with Minsk and Boo. I have lands in hand. It's just not going to happen. Now to fight Uro, I'm going to want Surgical Extraction. They don't seem to have X1s, or all I saw was Delighted Halfling. Dreadbore for the Planeswalkers. Blue Blast. Red Blast. Pithing Needle. Also for Planeswalkers. On the play, let's just try and leverage Liliana. Get over the line. They have swords, so Gurmag Angler goes away. Fatal Push doesn't seem relevant, although since I only have 2 lightning bolts, I guess I'll want that for Monodorks. And then Diabolic Edict also just seems a little inefficient. Unless they're planning on playing huge creatures. They might have an Atraxa. Can trim a Jace, because they'll probably have Red Blasts. Trim a Force. They're not coming out of the gates swinging either, so I'll cut a land. Well, on the play I'll cut the last Force, and I guess 19 lands is fine against a deck that's not aggro. We'll take the play. Immediately punished for sighting out my lands, looking at a 1-lander. 2 Brainstorms. I don't think I can beat this deck if I mulligan. I'm just not in the same year. Oh, they're taking a mulligan. That's nice. Make things a little more fair. But if I miss on Brainstorm on my first, or if I miss land on my first draw step and Brainstorm, it's not good. Here we go. Okay. Hold your breath, everyone. All right. I mean, it's still pretty bad, but it could be worse. Are they F6'd? What happens if I do this? Oh, too bad. Now I regret casting this thing. But sometimes you gotta take some pretty stupid lines. A Little Chat. I don't know that card. Sounds very cool. Well, I could name Narset preemptively. I could name Minskenboo. I saw tons of Misty Rainforests last game, so maybe that's what they're doing. Naming Minskenboo is not even that great. They still get the hamster every turn. I'll name Narset. But y'all know I was trying to be cheesy. Alright. I think I just wanted him to Turok this turn, and then next turn Brainstorm will actually look at full new cards. Because if I Brainstorm now, I know there's a Lilion after that, and then 2 new cards, none of which are guaranteed to be lands. Let's just do this. Alright, they're going to Brainstorm in response, maybe hide some good cards. Then it resolves, hitting Windswept Heath and another Brainstorm. Narset's still really bad if it comes down. It's just a little less damaging. Uro. It wouldn't be a Legacy League if I didn't face Uro. A card that did not exist when this deck was devised. They have 4 spells in hand. I hope that means that we're not going to be seeing an Uro come out of the graveyard next turn. I do have the Dreadbore if that's the case. I think I just hymn them again, right? Can put back a Liliana and Delta. Keep this up. Maybe they'll have no cards left soon. Carpet of Flowers. Okay. That could have gotten them an Uro. Glad to see that one go. Please don't draw a land, and if you do, don't make it a green source. Brainstorm. Kind of hoping for them to get Brainstorm locked here. I'm just wishing every calamity upon my opponent in their deck that goes way over the top of this one. No such luck. If I snap him to Turok, that's not even that great. No matter what, they're escaping Uro. So maybe I need to snap Brainstorm and hopefully find Surgical Extraction. I don't think I brought in 3, although maybe I should have, just because the matchup is, or that card's so hard to beat. Yeah, I only brought in 2. Well, it's not unreasonable, and I have a fetch land. Okay, so far no Red Blast. Perhaps it's Flusterstorm, that's why. We miss. Well, not yet. We could also ponder and look for it. Is K-Command going to be any good? I don't know. Not better than these other cards. Help me! No. Strix is good. Uro's going to recoup those 2 Hymn to Turoks pretty quickly, though. They have a lot of cards in the yard. And I already kind of have value in my hand. I'm going to take one more YOLO look. Pyroblast. That'd be good if I had Red up. I think it'll still help us in the future, even though Uro is going to be coming down. Oh yeah, I don't mind that at all. Well, I kind of do, because it's better in the graveyard, but this list has 3 snaps. Okay, they draw land. They crack. What is this? They want red mana. Okay, they want a Minskenboo. They don't want an Uro yet. That's fine with me. I was toying with naming Minskenboo. and it looks like it would have been a better choice than Narset. But at the end of the day, I decided it was kind of a poor name because they just still get the hamster. Red source? Cool. Might I add, this is all just damage control. Hit that with Dreadbore, and then hold up Pyroblast for the Uro escape. Get pummeled by a hamster in the meantime. How does it get so strong? I'm looking at the art, and it looks like it's, yeah, just a normal-sized hamster. Then again, if I was actually hung up on shit like that, you'd have to also think about things like Comet Stellar Pup, Rick Grimes, and this probably won't age well either. I wonder if Zelda will ever hit Magic. Nintendo are pretty stingy with their IP, but I think people would lose their minds. Wait, did they not? They didn't even try to go for Uro? Well, that was strange. More land. Not crazy about that. Snapcaster Mage. Dreadbore. This is kind of an even exchange, because I have the Snapcaster body left over. Veil of Summer. It's every card I hate in one deck. You know, for a while, and I think this is still largely the case, the fair decks in Legacy don't really run Veil of Summer. You still see it out of Storm, and sometimes I've also seen some Sultai Doomsday lists. But Veil of Summer against the Hymn to Turok deck, it's not good. I would go as far to say it's bad for us. Well, that worked. Can't wait to do it again next turn. No reason to block. This thing tramples. Not sure if 1 damage is going to be the difference here. And, well, the universe sure has a sense of humor sometimes. Take up on this. Still can't kill it with Snapcaster Mage. It is kind of funny, though, that they used a Veil of Summer to protect a Boo token from a Dreadbore. These are all new interactions. New territory for everyone. Swords to Plowshares, yeah, sure. If these were cards coming out of their hand, we'd be killing the tempo game here. Okay, they're going to direct some attention towards Liliana, which is good for us. Minsc Boo is just such a fast clock. Land is probably our death knell. Can I get a creature? I can. There's Surgical Extraction. If this was a Snapcaster Mage, we'd be weirdly kind of in it right now. Can still find one off the top, of course. Thoughtseize. Well, I might as well make them work for their Uro, right? Teferi, okay. That is not really a 5th card for the yard. Let's go ahead and get this hamster out of here. They're going to -3 with Teferi and draw a card. And then pass the turn. Another land. I really want to scoop it up here, but that wouldn't be fun. I should give this deck every opportunity it can to win. It's the, I don't think Reid Duke would concede here, is what I'm trying to say. Well, didn't expect that thing to eat some removal, but yeah, here's Narset. I'm becoming buried. They find a Brainstorm. I would have preferred them just slam Uro in, but I guess they're respecting my hand a lot more than I am. Well, that won't work. Pass the turn. And because of Teferi, pass the turn. That card did used to bother me a lot more than it does now. I feel like I'm just used to it now. But when it first came out, it felt so against the spirit of Magic to me. Now I tolerate it. More lands, huh? They're doing this too? Wild. I was kind of wondering why this deck didn't have Blood Moon. It must be Mandela effect or something, but I thought this deck had a Blood Moon in it when I was thinking back to GP Richmond, but maybe not. What I'm trying to say is I think this deck is super greedy. They also just got rid of their own Uro, so this game is going to go along way longer than it should, and they're actually giving me a chance to get back in it. Alright. Let's see what's going on. Sure. That's a trade I can get behind. I spend 1 mana, you spend 3. I don't lose 2 life. This should be over pretty soon. That Flame Blitz card, I think that's what it's called. It would like deal 5 to every Planeswalker. It's a red enchantment. Kind of a cool card. Although this hamster is also a problem. Yeah, I think we're out of outs here. Even if we deal with this one, there will be another one. So I guess on their upkeep... Oh no, we can't because of Teferi. Yeah, since Narset's around too. I don't believe that this deck puts cards in their hand. That's kind of like the new form of card advantage that gets around Narset effects. Putting cards in your hand gets around draw limitations. Let's take a look at how greedy this is just for the hell of it. Savine's Reclamation too. That's a powerful card. Oh, I forgot this was a Delighted Halfling deck. Well, if we were able to fight through the Minsk and Booze and extract the Uros on that one turn, they would have really had to go for like Delighted Halfling beats. So we were closer than you'd ever think. Cool. Well, we're finishing out 3-2, which is honestly a lot better than I thought we were going to do. We faced some really cool decks. Pillars of the format to this day, and I think the deck held up surprisingly well. I mean, obviously against the more modern blue pile, it just couldn't keep up. Uro, Minsk and Boo. But the combo decks we fought, some things never change. Force of Will, discard spells, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Well, I had a really great time with this experiment. I think I'd be very down to do stuff like this in the future. Just kind of historical decks, things that seem maybe not super strong in the meta, but as long as it's still a little competitive and we're having a good time playing matches, I'll do just about anything that is Grixis adjacent. And with that, I'll bid you farewell, and I'll see y'all next time.